So what we actually do is I cross my hands over, and these digits here, I put onto your collarbone. And if you find your collarbone, and then just drop your fingers down, and then it's in that little triangle here. And you're just going to do 10 little circles. And what you're doing is you're stretching the skin, because if you remember, superficially it's just in the surface of the skin. So you would do 10 little circles. Then for people who haven't had lymph nodes taken out of an armpit, you're going to be clearing the unaffected. So you're just right underneath the armpit, and you're doing nice big circles. So 10 circles underneath the armpit, obviously both sides, in a normal person who hasn't had lymph nodes taken out.
And you shouldn't do it if you have had your lymph nodes taken out?
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So on the side that you've had the damage.
I have them done on both sides.
Yeah. So then you're going to come down and you're going to take 5 deep abdominal breaths. Because it's tricky pressing different bits.
Stuffed.
Yeah. Because it's tricky with stuff going on here, what we do is we just do 5 abdominal breaths. So not chest, we're taking the breaths. So for some people it's easier if you're not good at breathing down here. You do a nice big deep breath like this.
I'll give you a slap across the face.
And what that does is when you do that, your diaphragm gets pulled up, and that creates a high pressure system in your abdomen, which kind of massages the lymph nodes that are deep in your abdomen, and it starts a drawing.
Like some of the yoga stuff that
It
does
is,
stretches
and the
squeezing.
yoga, exactly, yoga breath. So it's 5 yoga breaths into the abdomen. Then once you've done that, you come down and you clear the nodes in the legs. Now the easiest way to do it is actually to just hold on to a table, and then you just do leg lifts, because that's compressing the nodes here.
I'm not going to do that in case it makes
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Please do.
Just in case it makes something.
So 10 leg lifts is probably the easiest way to do it. The other way to do it is you make a V, and just at sort of the panty line, you're doing a little V along the panty line here.
You do that on the bus on the way to work
Yeah,
in the morning.
And you'd be very popular on the bus doing that.
Okay. So once
You
you
just
open
sit there
up
Just stay straight ahead.
all of those main nodes,
Have a place where you go to the next stop.
And then you brush yourself.
dry brushing.
You hit
I've got
yourself.
one of those, but I've never used it. You know, it
And
was trendy
so
years
many
ago.
people
I
say
want
that.
one.
Sadomasochism, eh? Ooh.
So
Come round and dry brush me.
I apologise for anybody watching this.
It's really hard not to wobble the camera.
Okay, so a dry brush is a perfect thing for stimulating. You can use your hands, but we tend to be a bit heavy-handed because we think more is better, generally. But you can't do, if you do more with a brush, what happens is all of the bristles bend. So the brush gives you just the right pressure. And it takes off a layer of dead skin cells. So then what you're doing is you're always brushing towards the nodes that you've cleared in an unaffected body. So you can
What's all
do,
this doing for the nodes?
this is just helping to stimulate. It's just moving the fluid along. Then the legs.
It's a bit like a river that's become stagnant, and there's a little bit of.
Exactly. So the legs, and you can, the back, it doesn't matter which way you do because there are nodes all over. So the back is really good. So you can use that over the whole body. Now, for somebody who's had breast surgery and say their left side is affected, same thing. We start in the neck, we clear the unaffected side. Then the idea is what we want to do is we want to take the pressure away from this side. If they're not nodes, we're not touching this side. If they're not nodes here, what we do is we create a pathway. So we open this up and we create a pathway.
But they didn't take them all out. If they just took a
Doesn't
few,
matter.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because it's compromised.
It's compromised, right?
And then if you've then had some radiation on top of it, then that does some further
So you're
damage.
redirecting the traffic.
You're
Yeah.
redirecting the traffic.
Yeah.
They can grow the pathways. New pathways
They
can
can,
grow.
but it's very slow.
Ah,
It's very slow, and for it to grow, you have to encourage it. So this is part of the whole
Is that away from the affected?
away from the
Between
affected
getting on
side.
the bus
So if
and
you
doing
think
this.
nothing should grow towards the affected side,
Imagine sitting at your desk at work and doing it.
it changes. You know, as we learn more. So always
Sounds like
away.
a good time.
Then we also come down the side. So we come down the side.
Kristen Bernadette, she's brilliant at it.
Okay, so pathway across here.
It's a bit like you've got a wet sweater and you're kind of squeezing all the water out
Exactly.
of it, isn't it? Down
Now
to
you can also use the brush to create.
the brush.
But you can
I like the
also
brush,
create
yeah.
it. Now the other thing that you can
Makes you feel
do
you're doing something.
Across the back.
is you brush along the back, taking it away along the back as well. So basically you're creating as many pathways away from the affected
And how
side.
do you know you're doing it right? Do you need to go to the toilet or anything?
Oh,
Yes.
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 The toilet, no, no.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? See?
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, not everyone. But that's a side effect. Yeah.
Far out.
So, well, because your lymphatic system joins in with your blood supply. So what you're doing is you're moving the fluid. It goes in here, through your heart, through your kidneys, and out.
Fantastic.
So the important thing when you're clearing the affected arm, because this side is affected, it's not working properly. Even if you don't have lymphedema, it's damaged. So we cannot direct fluid into here because there's nothing, this isn't functioning. So this is where what you're doing is you're aiming to bring the fluid up here. So you're coming from this half, bringing it up here, and this half. Yeah? So you're doing a different sort of clearing.
It's kind of, does your body like you're kind of re-educating in a
Yes.
way? Yeah.
You're training it, okay, these pathways are what you need to use now. So you're always kind of then bringing it across. This part, you can just, there are nodes in your elbow as well. So you can just bring this down, that's fine. And then again, we're going to be clearing carefully up here, back down, across, back down.
And how many times a day should you do this?
Well, at least once. If you could do it first thing in
Better-
the morning, first thing at night, great. Whatever you're going to
Is
do.
it better in the morning or at night? There's no good
There's
time.
no, you know,
After eating's not good or doesn't
there's
matter.
no. Any time that you will do it is a good time. Okay, so say you have had nodes taken out of your leg here,
Everything down there.
or your abdomen on the left-hand side, then what you're going to be doing is you're creating a pathway
That's it.
upwards. So you clear your neck, clear your armpits, and then you'll be coming upwards.
So if you saw a little diagram of the direction it goes in, then you would understand why you're sending it
Yeah.
the way you the
And
direction.
also on my website, I
Yeah.
have done videos showing how to do this. So I've got my stocking on, and so we create the pathway coming up. If you've had nodes taken from both sides, then you create the pathway both sides. And then when you're clearing the leg, what you're doing is you're bringing it to the side.
They haven't found any way of actually replacing the node or transplanting
Yes,
the
they
node,
have.
as they have.
So,
No,
and
I
I'll
said
talk to you,
transplant.
there are 3 different surgical options, so I'll talk to you about that. So it's about bringing it to the side and then up. So it's all about redirection.
And that's what's called lymphatic fluid that you're redirecting.
That's
Yep.
right. Yep, so there are ways that you adapt it according to what surgery you've had. And if you've had both sides, both arms done, nodes taken, then you're just taking everything down.
It's about a 5-minute thing if you get it down pat
yeah.
after you start practicing.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be hours and hours and hours. It can be 5 minutes. And one of there's research that shows 5 deep abdominal breaths 5 times a day, and Professor Pillar is the one who's done this, helps to reduce lymphedema.
So right, you might have a certain piece of music you play and you get through that. by that.
Absolutely. That's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah. When she moves on to verse 2, you move on to your other arm.
Okay.